introduction, I'm not going to lie. Even 7 years later, after starting the agency, I still get a lot of imposter syndrome. And even just looking at my name up there and my job title, I'm still freaking out a little bit. So I'm really excited to be here today. I'm not going to beat around the bush. The last couple of weeks I have been spiraling because I try to think to myself, what can I do to have you believe that I am good enough? How do I need to act to have you think that I have earned my spot on the stage? And what do I need to say so that you believe that I am professional? And that's the funny thing about the work that I do, is because I'm constantly championing people to be themselves. I'm constantly saying, be your authentic self, be who you are, show everybody who you are. But actually, I don't always practice what I preach. And it is really, really, really nerve-wracking when you have to do that. A little bit of context about me so you know who I am and what I do. My name is Sabine. I'm the CEO and co-founder of a personal branding agency named Talent and Truth. We manage the LinkedIn profiles of various leaders throughout the Middle East, the UK, US. However, before that, I used to work in hospitality myself. That is where my journey began. I was a hotel trainee. I worked across all the departments. And so that is why today is really, really special for me, because I feel like I'm getting to speak to my colleagues. I love hospitality. I think it's one of those industries that just never leave you. It's something that just becomes part of who you are. And every time I'm in a hotel, I feel like I just want to jump behind the front desk, check people in, and just welcome people to this beautiful lobby. There's a reason why I don't have any text up here, is because it's really important to me, and the way that I teach personal branding is I don't want to perform. I don't want to pretend something that I'm not, and that is my message to you as well. As soon as you step out of the performance and you step into the being, that is when you become really, really, really powerful. So I hope you'll humor me. We've got about 15 minutes together. I'm going to make sure that this is really, really practical. For me, the greatest sign that this was a success is if you feel empowered to share your next LinkedIn post using some of the frameworks that I'm going to be introducing you to. So as I mentioned, my background is in hospitality, and even though I do personal branding today, the two worlds are really similar. You wouldn't think it, but they're actually really, really similar. Hospitality and personal branding are ultimately about connection, they're about trust, and they're about differentiation. How are you connecting with your guests when they walk into the lobby? How are you building that trust with your guests? And how are you building a hotel experience that is truly different? The same can be said for personal branding. How are you connecting with your audience? So what stories are you sharing? How are you building that trust? And how are you differentiating yourself from everyone else? This lobby that you see up here, that is one of the first lobbies that I started working at when I first moved to the Middle East. I had the honor of being called the lobby lizard. That was part of my job description. And it's quite a peculiar job, but essentially my job was to take care of the area between the front door and the reception. That was me. I see a few people nodding here. I feel like some people have had the joy of having that job title as well. And my job was to welcome people. I was responsible for first impressions. So I was responsible for the connection, I was responsible for the trust, and I was responsible for the differentiation. Now, when I first started this job, I slipped into the performance. I slipped into the SOP. I slipped into the brand guidelines, the, hello sir, welcome sir, how may I best assist you? How are you today? And after a few weeks, I just got so bored because I wasn't connecting with anyone. Nobody was choosing me. Everybody was just walking by and passing me straight to the reception to check in. I then switched up my approach and I started to have conversations. And I started to just be who I am. I started to welcome people to my lobby. I started to have conversations. How are you? How are the kids? How's your day today? What you up to? Where are you going? What's happening in your life? And through those authentic conversations, and also through allowing people into my world and sharing with them a little bit about me, I started to get chosen. And so that meant when people walked through the door, they would look for me, they'd say, Sabine, you won't believe what just happened today, blah, 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 blah. And over time, those relationships started to build. Still to this day, 12 years later, I am still in touch with people that walk through that front door. I speak to them on WhatsApp, I speak to them on LinkedIn, they refer business to me, we work together, I speak at their various events. And that's the power of simply being you and the power of owning who you are. Your LinkedIn is your digital lobby. And if you think about it, as soon as somebody opens your LinkedIn right now, what are they seeing? What are the conversations that you're having with them? Are you being the brand standard SOP, hello, how are you, looking for a job or so excited to announce? Are you being yourself? What is that first impression that somebody has of you when they arrive to your LinkedIn lobby? We know today that first impressions are formed online. They're no longer formed with the first handshake. You receive an email from someone, and I bet the first thing you're going to do is you're going to look them up on LinkedIn. So what is your LinkedIn saying about you? This is the approach that we love to take when it comes to building a personal brand. It's called the triangle of influence, and the reason why I love this so much is because it allows you to build a 3D personal brand that is truly yours. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you what to post. I'm not going to tell you how to behave, because I know that is the quickest way you're going to get ignored. And so the triangle of influence is built on 3 key principles. You have likability, trust, and authority. The same way that hospitality and personal branding create connection, trust, and differentiation. I'm going to dive into the first key principle, which is likability. And likability is the one concept that most people feel deeply uncomfortable with because it revolves around you. It revolves around your story. And that also means that you need to be okay with letting go of some of that armor and some of that performance. So the way that this triangle works and the way that you would think about this is essentially content pillars or content principles, and these are the conversations you can start having on your LinkedIn with others. So if we think about likability, the things I need you to reflect on is, what are the things that I can be sharing on my LinkedIn that will make people like me and connect with me? How can I talk about my journey? What are the defining moments in my life that made me who I am today? What type of hobbies do I like? What can I do to let people into my world? And it really, really matters to me today that when you are thinking about your LinkedIn and you're thinking about your personal brand, that you're able to create some really powerful rituals for yourself, that you're able to constantly think about content ideas and those lobby lizard conversations that you can be having with your audience. So besides likability, I'm going to move on to trust. Trust is, in the simplest form, talking about your work and your career. Now, of course, we want to support our employers, we want to talk about the work we do, but we also want to share why we do what we do and how we do it and what is our approach. What is the behind the scenes of how we work? And that's really important for your audience because they need to trust you. It's really simple psychology. For you to want to work with someone, you need to trust them. For you to trust them, you need to like them. And that is why I stress likability, trust, authority. If you think back at when you were in school, let's say 7 years old, grade 1, you would always listen to the teacher that you liked. You would never really listen to the teacher that you didn't like. And because you liked the teacher, you trusted them. And because you trusted them, you listened to them. And so that is why these 3 principles are super important. Again, to reiterate, we have likability, which is about me. We have trust, which is about my work. So what stories can I share about my work? And lastly, the final principle is authority. So what can I do, or how can I share things about my industry and the way that I see it? If you want to think about it as zooming out, you have likability as me, career, and then the industry. And this is where you get to create that impact. This is where you get to create that authority, that respect. And this is also where opportunities start coming your way. I built a business off the back of my personal brand. My clients have done the same. Everybody that has started building their personal brand, I cannot think of a single person in the last 10 years that has not benefited from it. And so that is why focusing on these 3 principles is all you need to do to get going. I could sit here and teach you 100 different things that you need to do, but I know that the power really comes when you start to have those lobby conversations, those living room or lobby lizard conversations. It was really important to me today that I created something that was practical for you and that would allow you to create that very first LinkedIn post. Now, the way that you turn this triangle of influence into a system, I'm going to take you through next. This is what your LinkedIn posting system ideally would look like. So again, I need you to think a little bit like a content creator. So even today, my challenge to you is take a few photos, take some selfies, take some group photos with the people that you're interacting with. Start recording the content and start thinking about the stories and the conversations you want to have. So step 1 is to record. Step 2 is to share the content. Be brave enough to share that post. Be brave enough to show people a little bit of who you are, why you do what you do, and how you do it. The simplest way that you can do it is observation, reflection, lesson. This is what I saw, this is what I thought about it, this is what I learned about it. That's the quickest way that you can get started. There are a lot of other ways that you can write LinkedIn content. There's AI, you can do it yourself, you can work with a freelancer, you can work with an agency, but none of that matters. What's really important is just that you get going and that you figure out a system that really works for you. And then lastly, the way that this triangle becomes really, really powerful is when you start to alternate between likability, trust, and authority. It's when you start to think about the connection, the trust, and the differentiation. The reason why you want people to like you, the reason why you need people to trust you, and the reason why you want to show them that you're different. You're the right person, or you're the right brand to deliver that experience. This is what my LinkedIn lobby looks like right now. It's a little bit messy. It's a little bit personal. A few things about work over there. But this is what it looks like. And this is me to the core. It's taken me just short of 10 years to get to this point, and I am still a work in progress. So my message to you is that it's not going to be perfect. There's not going to be an SOP. There's not going to be a template for getting it right. You really have to go inwards, and you really have to sense check with yourself the whole time. Who am I? What are my stories? What can I share with others? As soon as you slip into being and you don't start to perform, that's when you realize how powerful you truly are. My QR code is over there. Feel free to reach out whenever you want to have a chat about personal branding. I see us as colleagues now. I think in another lifetime we would have worked together if I stayed on the hospitality track. I have a lot of respect and admiration for you. And if you do decide to share your first post, please tag me, and I'm super excited to be on this journey with you. Thank you.